What is going on, YouTube? Joe here with Color Nation Media, and welcome back for another live Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire Wi-Fi battle against a subscriber/follower on Twitter. Today, we are going up against Steezy in an OU battle. Almost said batch, because I always say batch. I can never just say match or battle. It has to be a mixture of the both. I don't know what's wrong with me, but anyway, in this battle, yeah, it's going to be OU, and half my team is not OU, because that's how I roll most of the time. Actually, before we do anything, though, I want to just give our opponent a quick little shout-out because it was his birthday, I think, yesterday or the day before, very recently, and he asked for this battle, so shout out to you. I hope you really enjoyed your birthday. If you see him down in the comment section, by the time this video goes up, to be honest, it's probably going to be weeks and weeks after his birthday, but wish him a happy belated birthday, just because we're nice people. So now, I should probably go over the team. We have a physically defensive Mandibuzz. It is packing the Rocky helmet, and I do have Taunt because things like Chansey are a problem, and he actually does have a Chansey here, so that does work out. Then we have Magnet Rise, Klefki. I also am packing the Spikes because hazards are fun and kind of necessary for this team, which doesn't pack too much of a punch offensively, to be honest. Then we have Choice Scarf, Rotom, normal form Rotom, because it's actually faster than the other forms. And I just wanted to bring something that wasn't OU-ish, so there you go. Then we have Specially Defensive Swampert. It is our Rock Setter, and really nothing fancy there. I think I also have Roar on it, so we can phase some things like that Dragonite or potentially his Gallade. And now my own Gallade actually has Taunt and the Swords Dance, so we can prevent things like Rotom Wash from Will-O-Wisping us, and we can set up all over Chansey, which is very nice. And then last but not least, Frank the Arcanine is here, and even though defensive Arcanine is by far the best Arcanine, I needed some more offensive presence, so this is a more offensive-oriented Arcanine. It's packing the Life Orb, and I also really needed some priority on the team, so Extreme Speed is quite powerful when you have the Life Orb and Adamant Nature and all that fun stuff. So looking at my opponent's team, I really would like to lead off with the Gallade, because if he leads off with Scolipede, I can taunt it. If he leads off with Rotom, I can taunt it. If he leads off with Chansey, I can taunt it. And actually, even if he leads off with the Mandibuzz, I can taunt that too. Because the last thing I would want would be to get Toxic. Now, if he does lead off with the Mandibuzz, he could very easily just hit me with a Foul Play, and that wouldn't feel too good. But I do have Drain Punch and not Close Combat, so I can get some of that HP back later on. So I kind of would like to make sure that this thing can't spread Toxics. And he actually does lead off with the Mandibuzz, so that is something. I can't kill it, obviously, so I mean, I wouldn't want to be staying in for more than one turn other than to just taunt it. Looking at my team, Klefki is probably the only safe switch that I have. I mean, my own Mandibuzz, I guess, but if I just go right into it, there's a chance that I could get Toxic. Klefki is the only thing that I could just hard switch into, just because... I mean, Rotom doesn't really care either, to be honest. Doesn't really care about a Toxic, but a Foul Play would not feel too good. So I don't know that I want to do that. To be honest, my best play here is probably just to give it a Taunt and then go from there. Because when he has things like Chanseys, I mean, I'm going to have an opportunity to come back in and Drain Punch. He's not going to be able to kill me in one hit, not without a Swords Dance. So I am just going to Mega Evolve, and I will taunt this thing, and it'll be a good time. Oh, just kidding, my screen is doing something weird. Okay, just glitched out there for a second. I don't know if you guys could see that. I don't know if it showed up, but it just did a very weird thing. My viewer of the capture card just kind of spazzed out a little bit there. But anyway, he tried to go for the Roost, actually, so I guess he wanted to gauge the damage and also see what I had to hit him with. Maybe he was expecting a close combat, which probably would still do a decent amount, even if this thing is physically defensive. I don't know if I want to stay in to find out, though. So, he probably has Roost and Defog, and then Toxic, I guess? I really think he has Toxic. His only attacking move is likely either Knock Off or Foul Play, most likely the Foul Play. So, I am going to make the switch into Klefki now. So, that worked out because I also got the Mega off, which means I will outspeed his own Gallade, if we have it in at the same time before he Mega Evolves. So that's nice. He actually has the Brave Bird. He gets a crit, which is unfortunate. It still doesn't really do too much. Like, that did about 25-ish%, even with the crit. So I'm fine with that. So Roost and Brave Bird is what we've seen so far. Now, I actually have Draining Kiss on this over Dazzling Gleam or Play Rough, just because neither one of those, they don't really do much damage anyway, because it's, you know, a Clef Key. So Draining Kiss is nice to get back a lot of HP, and I will go for that here. And he actually is going to switch out into his Scolipede. Fair enough. So if he had a Focus Sash, we're going to break that, which is nice. And that actually does a solid amount. Okay, that was a critical hit. I was about to say, there's no way it does that much. It's like a 50 base power move. But with all of that recovery, plus the lefty's recovery, we're almost back up to full HP, which is great. So we essentially got Jingles here in for free. Now, I'm very tempted to just go for Magnet Rise, just because this thing could carry EQ. Don't really want to get hit by that. I'm also tempted to just go for T-Wave, but I feel like he might protect. I'm going to go for T-Wave. I don't think he's going to protect. If he goes for EQ, that's fine. He can't kill me in one hit with that anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. So he doesn't go for Protect. We are going to get the Paralysis off on this, which is absolutely fantastic. And he is going to... I don't know what he's going to do, because he's going to be fully paralyzed. So I don't know if he was going to try to set up something there. Maybe try to set up a sub. That would actually be a pretty decent play, because Clef Key cannot really touch this thing. Now, I could set up spikes here if I wanted to, but I'm really tempted to just click Magnet Rise. I feel like he's just going to EQ me. I really do feel like that. And I kind of want to see what kind of set this is before I switch something else into it, because it could be kind of scary. And he's actually paralyzed again, a second turn in a row. That is very unfortunate for my opponent. I apologize about that. That really stinks. Believe me, I know the feeling. Just the other day, I got paralyzed 4 times in a row, and it cost me a match, and I was a little bit salty about it. So he's actually just going to straight up withdraw here. He's not going to play the para game. He doesn't want me getting up hazards for free, because he has to know that that's what I'm going to go for here. So, and he may have been going for EQs there too, because as soon as I set up the Magnet Rise, now he switches out. So I'm assuming that's what he was going to do. But we got the first layer of spikes up, which is nice. It really doesn't do much for, you know, Mandibuzz and Rotom, so we're going to want to get rocks up for those, especially because we want to put pressure on that Mandibuzz to have to come in and defog. I'm assuming it carries it, because he has really nothing else to get rid of hazards. So that is my thought on that. Now, what is this thing going to do? I really feel like he's going to try to burn me, just to get the residual damage, so we could use Frank as a pivot switch, but if he goes for the Hydro Pump, it's going to put me in a really bad spot because I'm offensive, so I don't think I want to play that game. My own Rotom doesn't really care about Volt Switch, and it doesn't really care about Will-O-Wisp, so he does go for the Hydro Pump, unfortunately. I was hoping that he wasn't going to go for that. That does wow, that does a lot. That does way more than anticipated. To the point where I think I only have one switch in if he does get in, if he does get up rocks. That's crazy. So I am just going to Volt Switch out of here, get some damage on this thing. He's probably just going to either go for, he's going to go for an attacking move. It's either going to be Hydro Pump again, or he's just going to Volt Switch. That Volt Switch did a lot to my opponent. So judging by how much damage he did to me with that Hydro Pump, and how much he took from that Volt Switch, I'm going to say that's offensive. Because that's a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage to a Rotom. So let's see here. What is he likely to go for? Probably Volt Switch, because he could kill me with that, and then he gets momentum. So I could use Swampert here as a pivot, but I am actually specially defensive, so I can take a Hydro Pump too. He does actually go for the Hydro Pump again, risking the miss, but I guess he didn't want me to switch anything else in. And he gets a crit, unfortunately, which really stinks. But I think I can take one more now. That does stink. He could Willow me here. It's also possible that he's choiced into that Hydro Pump, so it doesn't matter, because he didn't show lefties. But I'm going to set up Stealth Rocks here. I really see no reason not to. And he is going to switch right into the Mandibuzz, indicating that he is most likely carrying the Defog, as I had anticipated, which is fine, but I get free lefties, which I kind of need. I need all the lefties I can get to switch into those Hydro Pumps now, because of that critical hit. I could fish for a burn here, with Scald, and I'm very tempted to do so, or I could just roar him out. I really don't want to get Toxic, though. That's the thing. Toxic would not be too much fun. Kind of tempted to go back into Klefki, just because it's a relatively safe switch. Because he showed the Brave Bird already. Brave Bird Mandibuzz. I wonder what that is meant to hit. I'm not really sure. I don't know if I've ever seen that. So I'm just going to go for Scald. I'm going to go for the burn here, as he does show off the Defog. So our Spikes and Stealth Rock are gone, unfortunately. But we're going to have other opportunities to set up. So at least we get a free Scald off here. That actually does a decent amount. And I'm defensive Swampert, so that has to be physically defensive Mandibuzz. Which, like I said, is the most common. But I'm going to go for another Scald here. If he wants to keep playing the Roost game, then I'm eventually going to score a burn here. And he's actually going to switch out, so we get more Lefty's recovery as he goes into Slayer. Slayer the Chansey. Okay, then. Not going to lie, I kind of hate seeing Chansey, just because it's like, it's pretty high up on my most hated Pokemon of all time list. It's up there with Blissey and Porygon 2, and Togekiss was up there for a while, but I haven't seen it in such a long time. So, I don't know. I'm just going to go for Stealth Rock here. He can't stop me. So now the Mandibuzz has to switch in and take 25%, which is great. He's going to set up his own rocks, actually, which is fine, I suppose. My team isn't hampered too much by that. Arcanine, obviously, doesn't really enjoy the rocks. We've gotten so much as far as Lefty's recovery, though. We really have. Now, actually, Mandibuzz doesn't really like rocks either, so I may want to defog those away. Potentially. Or I may just want to deal with it just to hamper his team, because his Scolipede doesn't like that either. So, I am going to go and switch out here. There's really no reason for me to stay in. I don't want to get Toxic, and I feel like that's what he's going to do. So, into Klefki we go, predicting the Toxic, and that is exactly what he goes for. So, we're going to recover off the damage, minimal damage that we took from Stealth Rock. And we're in a great position. I'm pretty sure if he has any attacking move, it's going to be Seismic Toss. So the fact that he has Toxic and Stealth Rock, though, he's got to have a recovery move. So he's either Wish Protect and he has no attacking moves, or more likely he has the Soft Boiled and then something else like Seismic Toss. He could even have T-Wave, too. He could be double status with no attacks. It's possible. So I'm using the Klefki as a pivot. I am going to switch out into Gallade because he's not going to go for Toxic this turn. He might heal, or he might just switch out. Not really sure. Probably going to switch out. Yeah, he is going to withdraw. So he can't afford to leave Chansey in on a Klefki. He doesn't know what I'm going to do. I might have Toxic. I know he has Natural Cure, but still. He's going to go right into the Rotom, actually. And he takes some damage from the Stealth Rocks, which is nice. And I want to say this thing was Choice Specs. I really do, judging by how much damage it was dishing out before. I might be able to kill him with a Drain Punch, but I'm still fearing the fact that he could have the Will-O-Wisp. Because he could be like Trick with Hydro Pump, Volt Switch, and then Willow. That could be a thing. I've seen that before, and it actually works pretty well. He can't trick me, though. So I kind of want to just taunt you. Kind of do. No, I'm going to go for Drain Punch. We're going to try to kill him. Actually, he's going to pull a double switch here, predicting me to go into, I don't know what. He's going to go right into Mandibuzz. He's going to take the 25% due to the rocks, and now 2 Drain Punches will kill you. So we're going to get rid of his Defogger here. Actually, ooh, he barely survives. I thought for a second that he was going to go down to that Drain Punch. And he does show off the Rocky Helmet, so we're running like almost the same set. Mine doesn't have Brave Bird, though, so that's something. So I can just go for Drain Punch again. There's really nothing stopping me from doing that. And he's not going to be able to get a Defog off. In fact, I may want to Defog a little bit later on, depending, just so that I am not being pressured as much. Especially because my Rotom has very limited switch-ins now. If I want to get that in a couple more times and have the freedom to Volt Switch, I might want to Defog and then try to set up my hazards again. Because I have a pretty decent amount of opportunities to set up. And his team, I think, is a lot more pressure than mine is. So, he is going to go out into his own Gallade here. which means he probably has a Psychic-type stab move to hit me with. And I don't know that I really like that. I'm so tempted to just click Taunt, though, to prevent him from setting up a Substitute or a Swords Dance, predicting a switch. I'm really, really tempted to do that. I could also sack off Rotom here to get a safe switch into something like Clef Key and then T-Wave him. But I don't know. I don't know if that's the best play in the world. I might need that Scarf later on. Yeah, my smartest play is probably to just go into Mandibuzz here. It's my safest play, and I can always taunt him. It does go through sub, so I can prevent him from setting up a Swords Dance if he does sub, and then I can just foul play him. And he's going to Mega Evolve, of course, and we'll get to see what exactly this set is. Maybe he'll even go for Zen Headbutt. No, he goes for the Ice Punch, predicting the Mandibuzz. Great play on my opponent's part. I mean, I guess the Mandibuzz switch was fairly obvious. I guess. Because the fact that he went into his Gallade would make me think that he has a Psychic-type stab move that he was going to go for. So I guess that makes sense. But we can go for the Roost here, I suppose. That's really my only play. Yeah, I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna go for Foul Play. We don't really need Mandibuzz for too much, so that's not gonna kill me, and I'm gonna get a lot of damage off on this. Thankfully, we didn't get frozen, which is fantastic. And oh, we get a critical hit! Oh my goodness, that really stinks. I think that may have mattered. I really feel like that may have mattered, so I apologize for that. That really stinks. That on top of the double paralysis earlier on, my opponent is getting the short end of the hack stick. Oh, and also, I'm not Rocky Helmet. I don't know why I thought it was Rocky Helmet. I'm lefties. Yeah. I said earlier on that I was Rocky Helmet Mandibuzz. I'm not. I don't know why I said that. Apparently, I don't know what my own sets are. Not that that should be a shock to anyone. But the fact that he's going to go into Chansey here means that I get a free Roost off. Why is he going to let me heal up with this? Because I can just wall that that Scolipede, because Rock Slide's not going to be doing that much. So do I taunt or do I Roost first? I mean, he could very easily just Toxic me, so I'm going to taunt first. Don't want you doing silly things. Don't want you doing silly things. Yeah, he is actually going to try to go for the Heal Bell, because he doesn't want his Scolipede to be paralyzed anymore, and that's understandable. So I'm going to Roost now, because he has to switch. Most likely, unless he's just going to try to Seismic Toss me to death. But I'm expecting a switch into, I don't know, Rotom maybe? I guess Rotom. I don't know what else he would go into here. But either way, I mean, I get a free Roost off, so that's absolutely fantastic. Saving Mandibuzz to potentially get a foul playoff on Dragonite or something could be great. So we'll have to see what happens. And he is going to go out into the Rotom and take a little bit more chip damage via the Stealth Rock, which is great. And so this is good. This is very good. Unfortunately, I was not able to get off a Defog there. I could have, if I wanted to, but I really wanted him to continue to take Stealth Rock damage. So, especially with his own Mandibuzz dead, I'm kind of tempted to click Defog now, because Hydro Pump won't kill me, and then I can go right into Swampert afterwards to start setting up more hazards. The thing is, if I'm gonna Defog, I need to make sure I can get up the rocks again, and the reason that I want them up so badly is because it really helps out a lot, and specifically for that Dragonite, which has the multi-scale. Which essentially gives it a free turn to set up because you're not OHKOing it with anything. Even most Ice-type moves will not OHKO it. So, and there's also the chance that it is weakness policy too. So breaking that that multi-scale is extremely, extremely important. And the fact that Dragonite is just generally pretty bulky, so that extra damage is always nice. I'm actually going to pull a switch here into Clef Key. I don't feel like I really need Clef Key too much, even though the Thunder Wave would be nice. I don't think he's going to be able to kill me off. He's actually going to go for the rest. Is he not choiced? He's just offensive. Okay, so he's offensive with rest. And he's Chesto. Okay, Resto Chesto. Fair enough. Haven't seen one of those in a really long time. Granted, I don't play a lot of OU. I've been playing more OU lately than I have in a long time, but I still don't see a lot of those. So I could do a couple of things here. I could Draining Kiss for some damage. I could set up some spikes here. I mean, if I set up spikes, then I'm kind of pressured to not go for the Defog. And I think I'm just going to deal with it. I'm going to deal with rocks up on my side. We'll go for a spike here. And he is going to go for the Will-O-Wisp. So we've seen his entire moveset. Willow, Hydro Pump, Volt Switch, and Rest. So I don't think he's going to use the Rest again, because then he's just a sitting duck and I can set up on him with a Gallade. So he's pretty much done with that. But man, that Hydro Pump earlier, I'm still kind of reeling from that. That did so much damage. He is going to show off the Hydro Pump again here, and he thankfully hits, because he's been getting kind of hacked with other things, like the Paras and the crit on the Gallade, which I'm like 85% positive that mattered, even if he had no HP investment, just because Gallade does get that boost in physical defense. So he's hit all of his Hydro Pumps, though, so there's that. Now, that Draining Kiss really didn't do much, but every little amount of chip damage does matter here. And like I said, I really don't need this Clef Key for anything. So I can just continually Draining Kiss, if I want to, which I am going to do. And he's going to go for Hydro Pump again, hit another one, and I should be able to take that. And that brings me down to 3 HP. We barely take that. That was close. That was very close. And, oh, wait a minute. We still going to die to the burn, even after lefties? Are we? It's going to... No, I don't think we will. We're going to barely live. Yep, live with 11 HP, and that means that I'm free to get up another spike before I die if I want to, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So we were able to get off like 35% after the rest on this thing, which is a little bit more than I thought we were going to be able to do, but that's the benefit of, you know, this being an offensive Rotom. So Klefki is going to go down, but it did its job very well. We have 2 layers of spikes up and Stealth Rock, and my opponent has no way to get rid of that. So things like Scolipede are going to be... I mean, that thing is severely crippled as it is. It's already paralyzed, has to take another 25% due to the rocks, and then, what is it, 18%? I think it's like 18% with 2 layers of spikes. So that thing is neutered, basically. And then, as I mentioned before, the Dragonite, you know, that's extremely useful. As long as I keep something that has Taunt alive, I should be able to handle that Chansey as well. And Gallade, yeah, Gallade just destroys Chansey. So he's actually going to go out into the Dragonite now. Beautiful, shiny Dragonite. I love that green coloring on it. I don't know. What shade of green is that? Is it like midnight green? Evergreen? I don't know. I'm just making up stuff as I go along here. I could go into Rotom here and fire off something, because I'm Choice Scarf. Or I could just go into Mandibuzz and just foul play it. Because I don't know if he can kill me in one hit. He might be able to after Rocks damage. I mean, I could force him to lock himself into Outrage. But he can do that now because Klefki is gone. I'm surprised it took so long for me to lose a Pokemon. Like, we just lost a Pokemon, we're 20 minutes into this match. Yay, I said match! I didn't call it a batch for once in my life. Sweet. Alright, I need to make a decision here. We're going to go into Swampert, actually. We're going to go into Swampert because I think he's going to try to just set up Dragon Dances, and I am just going to roar you out. That's my prediction. Predicting a Dragon Dance, going for the Roar. If he switches, he takes more Stealth Rock and Hazard damage, so I'm fine by that. He does go for the Dragon Dance, so we're going to have this thing at about half of its max HP. And to be honest, a Life Orb Extreme Speed from an Adamant Arcanine might be enough to take it out from there. Very possible. So we actually get the Rotom to come back in, which is great because I can definitely take a couple of hits. And he's going to have to hit more Hydro Pumps, basically, or go for the Will-O-Wisp. Now, do I want to predict a Willow and go right into Frank? If I do that and he goes for Hydro Pump, though, then I lose my Extreme Speed. Do I really want to do that? I kind of do. I really want to predict that Will-O-Wisp, but I just feel like that is not the right play to make. That's like unnecessarily risky. What else could I go into? I could sack Rotom here. That is the thing that I could do. Because it's really not doing too much for me. And at that point, I could go into my Gallade and set up... I could taunt him so he could not Will-O-Wisp me and then try to do some things. But then I would have to at least take one Hydro Pump, most likely, or a Volt Switch before firing off a Drain Punch or something like that to get some recovery. So I feel like the safest play at this point in the game is to just go into my Rotom. If he does go for the burn, that's fine. It's still going to kill me. And he actually goes for the Hydro Pump. Hits another one. I think he's hit like 5 Hydro Pumps. That's pretty cool. That is definitely pretty cool. I mean, like I said, I'm not salty about that at all because he definitely got hacks in other ways. So you kind of deserve to hit those Hydro Pumps. But I don't think I've ever hit that many Hydro Pumps / Fire Blasts in one game before. It just doesn't happen. I usually always miss at least one. But anyway, we're gonna go into Gallade here. We get a safe switch, and now what do I want to do? Was this a mistake to go right into the Gallade? I feel like Drain Punch will kill it from there because it's offensive. So, I mean, I could taunt, because the chances of him being able to kill me with a Hydro Pump are pretty slim. So I feel like taunt could be a good play here. I mean, the only other thing I could do, I could calc to see how much Drain Punch is going to do to offensive Rotom. But I think my best play is just to taunt, because he could switch out into, like, Dragonite or something, predicting a Drain Punch too. And that'll prevent him from setting up. So that is fantastic. We'll see what he wants to do. He knows that this Gallade is a threat. He knows this. He can't go into Chansey. He's got the Scolipede left and Dragonite. So really his only play, well, that's not true. He's got several plays here. He could sack off the Scolipede, or he could just go into Dragonite. But it looks like he's going to sack off the Scolipede just because he doesn't need it. Why does my thing keeps lagging like hardcore? So I don't know if it's actually doing that in the recording or if it's just my screen that's acting all funky. But I apologize if you're seeing a whole bunch of lag and stuff. Hopefully towards the end of this match it kind of corrects itself, because I don't like lag. I don't like lag. I don't like glitches. It's not something that I enjoy too much. But we have this thing out here. Do I want to predict or protect? I don't really care. I'm just going to go for the knockoff. I don't think he really can afford to go for protect, because the speed boost doesn't do anything for him anyway. It would just potentially allow me to set up a free Swords Dance, and so I just go for the knockoff, take out the Scolipede, shows off that it does have the Focus Sash, and we actually broke that very early on in the match, as he is going to go back into the Rotom, and let's see here. What do I want to do to this? I think Drain Punch now. So I think by him sacking that off, that he actually he helped me out, because he took more hazards coming back in. And that may have mattered. I don't know. But I definitely was going to try to go for the Drain Punch there, and it does take out this Rotom. So now he pretty much has to go into Dragonite. He really doesn't have any other choice here but to go into the Dragonite. So, let's see. What are you going to want to do? Are you going to try to set up another Dragon Dance? I still have Mandibuzz alive. So that's something that I could sack off at this point. I could go for a knockoff, but if he just goes for Outrage, I mean, I don't know that I want to lose this. That's the thing. I would rather sack off the rest of my team to beat this Dragonite just because of that Chansey. Because looking at my team, nothing really beats it. Like, it can just Toxic Stall everything, just about. Everything but Gallade. So, because that Chansey is still alive, I'm going to have to make a switch here. I can't risk Gallade going down, otherwise I will lose. So, I do need to go into Frank, and we're going to take the 25% due to the rocks, but we do get an Intimidate off. So, I kind of have a somewhat of a bluff set here, as it keeps lagging. Why is it doing that? I really don't know why it's doing that. I really hope that isn't showing up in the recording, and if it is, I hope that it's not making it unwatchable. But there's not really much I can do at this point. Anyway, I'm going to go for the extreme speed for damage. That did a lot. Wow. That did way more than anticipated. He is just going to go for the EQ there to take me out. So, goodbye, Frank. We hardly knew you. He got no action. He got no action in this part. But now we can just go into Gallade because we do outspeed. He can't kill me with an extreme speed unless he gets a critical hit. And even with a critical hit, because we... because we got that Intimidate off, I don't really think that I should be too afraid. He's not even going to go for the extreme speed. He just lets me take it out with a knockoff. It's also possible he didn't have the extreme speed, as we do knock off the weakness policy. And his last Pokemon is going to be the Chansey. So I don't think that I can get rid of this in one hit. I don't know. Even with all that hazard damage. I'm not sure if Drain Punch is an OHKO, so I'm going to taunt it. Because I don't want it recovering. Like, the worst thing that could happen is I Drain Punch, doesn't kill, and he starts recovering. That's just not cool. Or he Toxics me. He does try to recover there with his Soft Boiled. And now we can safely go for a knockoff. I mean, I guess I could just try to kill him with Drain Punch. I don't know what I'm doing. Actually, knockoff just kills. Oh my goodness, I could have just Drain Punched. So I just wasted time there. Oh well, I mean, I apologize for that. I guess that kind of makes me look like a jerk, taunting it and everything. But anyway... that is going to be the end of the match as Gallade brings it home for us. And yeah, that's going to be the battle. It was pretty fun, despite the lag. Hopefully I get that corrected moving forward, because that was kind of annoying, at least on my end. I don't know if it was annoying for you guys. But yeah, remember, if you see my opponent Steezy here down in the comment section, make sure to wish him a happy belated birthday. I hope you enjoyed it, man. And that's really all I have to say. So that's going to be it for this time. If you guys enjoyed the battle, make sure you leave a like rating or a comment or whatever you would like to do. And I will see you all next time. And until then, game on.